Welcome to this edition of Yankees Coast to Coast. I am your host, Mike Carbone, and I'm joined here with my friend Auden Mitchell, and we're going to talk Yankees baseball with you guys today. Auden, another successful week,
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
series wins. Can't complain. I mean, today was a little bit frustrating, but we're going to get into that. But first, let's talk a little bit about this Miami series. What did you think about it?
yeah. So coming into Miami last week, when it was me and Blake, we were talking about how they were coming with these lefty starters, and we have to attack these lefty starters because we hit lefty starters so well. That was the case in Game One. Shut them out 7-0. Nestor did really well. Next game, Rodon, great game. Brought his ERA down to 1.7 about. Offense only scored 3 runs, but that's all right. Still got the win. Next game was pretty disappointing. The latter game, 5-2 loss, but you can't take them all. You'll take the series win. But all in all, I mean, outside of Stroman having his first rough outing, we looked pretty good in that series. We looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. I mean, I think all of our expectations are heightened just because of the start this team's had to the season. I get the feeling every day that we're going to win. Last year, we've talked about it. How's this team going to screw this up? If we get in the close games, like, well, we know how this goes. Now, whenever we're in a close game, I mean, I really feel like something good's going to happen now. So, when we lost that third game against Miami, I was really under the impression that we were going to come back when Soto hit that double. I was like, oh man, here we go. This is going to be another fun, walk off, that kind of thing. But I'm not going to take every game. And you know, at the end of the day, uh, we're at that point where we'll be, if we keep taking 2 out of 3 every series, we're going to be where we want to be. That's the gist. And I think that, just like I said, just keep stockpiling wins, keep stockpiling series, and we're going to get where we want to. But even then, I was really impressed with the pitching all in all. I mean, Stroman didn't have his best stuff, but, he still, dug deep and gave us, I think, 5 innings. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Auden, but I believe
I
that he
think
still
that's right.
mustered 5 innings, even though he didn't have his best stuff. And, days like that where you don't have your A game and you get behind and the offense isn't really doing too much, that still saves the bullpen, and in the long run that's going to serve us a lot of good, because last year, besides Cole, I mean, we weren't getting too much length from our starters, so the fact that we've been able to get that a lot this year has been really beneficial, I think. And guys like Rodon, Stroman, and Nestor too. Nestor's first start, he went, what was it, eight
Yeah,
innings, right?
8 innings.
Yeah, 8 innings. Yeah, that's massive, especially in April. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we should bring him back out," this kind of thing. But I definitely was on the side of get him out of there, just because his injury
Yeah,
history, his
yeah.
shoulder. Last thing you want is to re-aggravate something and then be down another
Yeah,
arm.
especially with your ace can call out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're already shorthanded as is, and we got to get back healthy for sure. So, but hey, great week all together. Cleveland series. What are some things you saw from that you have any takeaways?
Offense, first game, 3-2. Only scored 3 runs, still got the win. That's all right. But ended up putting an 8 spot and then a 7 spot in a rough loss today. But overall, I mean, you're scoring 18 runs in a 3 game series. That's about 6 runs a game. That's pretty good, and that's exactly what you expect from this offense. Volpe continued to look good. Judge looks like he's starting to slowly return to his former self, which you can be very, very thankful for. Glaber, eh, eh.
Yeah,
I think Glaber
I'm,
is, yeah.
uh,
Doogie, he's still trying to find his bat. I feel like he's kind of on the brink, but he had a few plays today where on the bases he just didn't hustle out any ground balls, and that's pretty frustrating. It feels a little Gary Sanchez-esque, but you come away this series similar to the Miami series, 2 out of 3. Take what you can get. Overall, solid week.
for sure. Yeah, I'm totally with you there. trying to have perspective because today was really a frustrating loss. Like the loss against Miami didn't bother me too much just because like that wasn't our night. But today, I feel like that was more of an inexcusable loss just because of the mental errors, the mental lapses, uh, things that you can control, like the lack of hustle from Verdugo, just, low IQ baseball plays. And, Torres, I mean, his screw up there in the 10th. Let's see. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else. Little things that, you can control.
Like
You can't control.
he had that one grounder in one of the Cleveland games where he took it himself instead of flipping to Volpe, and then he tried to get the throw off to Rizzo. And it
Yeah,
was yeah,
and
that's just bad.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So just one of those things, stuff you got to clean up, stuff that shouldn't be happening for guys that have been in the league for as long as they've been in it. Torres, he's definitely on my hot seat right now. Rizzo as well, but starting with Glaber, you know, guys like him with the potential they have, there's no excuse for these guys to be making these kinds of plays. It's stuff you expect from high schoolers to make. So why isn't the second baseman of the Yankees making that play? Especially what this is year.
His first year
This
was
is year.
2018, so year
Yeah,
six,
so
yeah,
you're 7 now.
yeah,
Yeah,
7.
yeah, year 7. So I mean, I don't know. You can't make any more excuses for this guy at this point. He is what he is. Uh, if he was, some rookie, if this was 2018 or 2019, like, okay, it's going to happen. But at this
This was
point,
still 21 when he was playing shortstop. You could be like, all right, he's going to make a few, but you're still at second base. This
yeah,
is
he's
where you
back.
have been playing. There's no more excuse.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where he's the kind of guy where if he gets going offensively, he's really good defensively. And then if he's not good offensively, he takes it out there with him on defense. And it just shows. He's really just the textbook definition of a head case, if you will. He gets in his own head, and I don't know. I mean, this contract year, and he's blowing a lot of money right now because if he would just put up the year he's capable of having. I mean, you saw what he did in 2018, 2019, I mean, even last year, the past 2 years. A guy like him can make upwards 140, 150 million dollars in the open market.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's on him. Obviously he's got a lot of time to turn it around, and we don't really have a different option at second. I mean, I guess you have DJ, but I think they're going to ride it out with Glaber. I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean, the potential's there, obviously, like we've hit on, but
I mean, as of right now, you can argue with the hot baddie swinging. You could argue Cabrera for second base.
yeah. And I'd
I
much
mean,
rather see.
he's not a stellar defender by any means, but if you want somebody else other than Glaber, you might as well throw him in there just to try it. You
Yeah,
know he
I
can play
mean,
the position, so
for sure. And I'd rather watch Cabrera at second versus third anyway, just because Cabrera's defense at third's been a little bit shaky.
it's yeah.
And just the overall infield defense has been shaky. But hitting off of that, getting into Rizzo, 4 errors in 16 games, I think, this year now.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's brutal. Former Platinum Glove Award winner. You expect more from a guy like that. I think all of his concussion symptoms are gone. I don't think they would be putting him in the lineup if that stuff was still there, but it's just little stuff that I don't know if it's rust or father time catching up to him a little bit, but plays we expect a guy like Rizzo to make, he's not making right now, and it's killing us defensively. And it hasn't come back to really bite us yet, just because the team's doing so well. But come October, the room for error is going to shrink, and one mistake like that can end your season. So obviously, got to have a little bit of patience. Give it a little more run for a guy like him. Hopefully he figures it out and just gets whatever it is figured out defensively, because I mean offensively he's starting to show signs of coming out of it. I'm not expecting him to hit 30 some home runs like he did in 2022, but
He had
just
that
to be
clutch 10th inning hit today.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm asking for. Just to be the guy he was in 21. If he could, show some signs at 22, that'd be great. But I'm not expecting any 30 plus home run seasons from him. Just play solid defense. Have some pop, and just be a good clubhouse presence. Because at the end of the day, I mean, he's the captain that's not the captain, if you will.
He's the captain's right hand man, essentially.
For sure, and I think Judge looks to him for a lot as well.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously Rizzo played a lot into that contract Judge signed.
For sure, yeah, because
He
he
was in
resigned.
his ear that whole year.
Yeah, he resigned first before Judge did, so I definitely played into it. So thankful for that. But all in all, I was really happy with Schmidt, his first start. Petit, he pitched really well. Nestor kind of came back to earth in the third game. I was a little bit disappointed because I thought maybe he'd turned a corner a little bit. He may have found something, but I think that's just kind of what Nestor is. He's going to be about a 4 ERA guy, I think, going forward. Not great, but hopefully serviceable at least. Get us some innings because like you said, the offense averaged 6 runs a game this series. That's what we expect from these guys, and you can have a little bit of you don't have to have perfect pitching. When you have the offense the firepower we got. So, I was really impressed with, Judge today is the best he's looked all year. I personally have had my concerns just because of what he's had going on in spring training, sitting out for a week and a half to, the slow start, didn't really look like himself. He wasn't hitting fastballs like he was in prior years. Just looked off balance, and he's still taking his walks, so I will give him that. I mean, leads major leagues in walks, I think, still.
He's still got his own base.
Yeah, so his on-base percentage is still great, but
he's just not hitting the way you'd expect him. But he's picking it up.
We expect him to be a 600 slugging guy, not a 400 slugging guy. But that home run today was really encouraging. Tied Derek Jeter, 260th career home run, so that's really cool.
9th all-time Yankee franchise.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast he's reached that. It's great to see Judge, break out of his little slumber. That was an absolute tanky hit today. I think I said 469 feet today. That's an absolute rocket. And then he also hit one. He almost hit another one out today. I think it was in the 6th inning, I believe it was. Drove one to deep right center field, and great play was made there. Wasn't rewarded for it by any means, but still, he's swinging the bat confidently. At least he was today, and hopefully he takes that into the upcoming series this week in Toronto.
Yeah, he's making contact, but if you want to talk about a guy who's making contact, how about Anthony Volpe? That kid can't stop hitting. Him and Soto, they're perfect at the top of the lineup.
Oh, my gosh. And, there was people saying, I don't want to mess it up, this, that, and the other. The line of construction. I'm like, dude, if there was a guy that was made for the leadoff spot, it is Anthony Volpe. Dude, that guy is just – he's been the best player on the team to this point. I mean, what can you say about him? I mean, fielding hasn't been perfect this year, but I mean, that pedigree still is there, the Gold Glove pedigree. I think he'll figure that out. He's obviously cut from that right cloth that, he'll figure it out. He's not going to let it get to his head. And offensively, I mean, he's just been an absolute rocket at the top of that lineup. He's just the work he put in this offseason, it's really showing. His approach, his mechanics, everything's just so fluid at this time. And, I really hope he just keeps it going. And, I hope, I hope he messes around and wins an MVP because he's got that kind of capability. And, I think, a winning shortstop for the Yankees, that sells.
Yeah, I mean, when it was the offseason and we started talking about, our predictions for this team, Anthony Volpe was a guy we're like, okay, he had a rough start to last year, but his second half was incredible. We have been seeing even better than that second half Volpe. He has surpassed everybody's expectations for this year, and he's truly having a very good breakout year so far. Today, obviously, he had the very clutch double in the 9th inning to tie the game 5-5. which we would later lose, but besides the point.
Yeah.
He's been nothing short of amazing, and you only wish he can keep it up because you haven't seen anybody at shortstop for the Yankees like this since Jeter, not even Didi.
Yeah, forget Didi, dude. This is, yeah, I mean, it's definitely Derek Jeter type stuff. I mean, the fact that, he just puts up professional at bats every time now. It's like, Juan Soto's just, his magic's just, been dusted upon Volpe, his plate discipline, and, he doesn't, the strikeouts have cut down. I mean, he hits the ball where it's pitched. I don't know what else to say, but just by the fact that I'm just extremely impressed with him, and this is definitely the best I've felt about shortstop since Jeter, without question. Didi had a solid little run there for a couple of years, but other than that, he blows Didi into the water at this point. Especially the base running that doesn't get talked about enough either. I mean, he's not Ricky Henderson out there, but he's still going to steal you 25, 30 bags, and he definitely has the potential to be an MVP candidate, really. And I don't know if it's a little too soon to speak this, but I mean, at this point right now, he's the best shortstop in baseball. That's a hot take. Probably is. There's an old quote by the New York Giants old football coach, Bill Parcells, put away the anointing oil. It's probably pretty early, 16 games into the season. We're 10% through the season. But, I mean, I'm fully convinced that, this kid's going to be a superstar. Just because of his willingness to make adjustments and his willingness to do what's best for the team. And, he completely changed his approach. He changed his mechanics, all for the betterment of the team. And I truly love the kid, and I hope they sign him long-term soon. Don't mess around and wait like they did with Judge. Sign him yesterday.
Yeah, you talk about him getting 25, 30 steals on a good year. He could probably get you more than that at the leadoff spot, especially in front of Soto, who's going to work along at bat.
For sure.
So definitely sign him long term. Ever since he leveled his swing out and stopped getting under it as much, he's been hitting everything, and he's just, like you said, so far the best shortstop in baseball. Which, let's revisit that. Maybe middle of the year. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. But he has been, like I said, nothing short of amazing, and you want Anthony Volpe to continue to produce.
But all right, Auden, who do the Yankees got this coming week? What do we have to look forward to?
We have to look forward to some AL East rivalries with Toronto, followed by a Tampa Bay series at home.
All right.
What are your thoughts on those series, Mike?
So going to Toronto for the first time this year, we looked pretty good against Toronto at home. I fully expect the same. We haven't lost a series yet. Why stop now? Eventually, it's going to change. It's such a long season, but the way the team's looking offensively, I've got my hopes up. We've got Rodon for game one, correct, right? Yeah, Rodon, Stroman. I fully expect Stroman to pitch with a chip on his shoulder coming back to Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, especially after dominating them in the home opener.
Yeah, no, he was rock solid. And Rodon, I mean, he's definitely having to come back here and putting himself in that conversation for comeback player of the year, honestly. I mean, as long as Mike Trout doesn't keep doing stupid stuff, which he probably will. I mean, he's Mike Trout, and he shouldn't have been written off. That's a whole other conversation. But he's been really impressive. I mean, it seems like the work he's put in this offseason is really paying off, and I'm super excited for him. And he's a guy that I think a lot of people want to root for because he's got that pedigree for New York, a tenacity he pitches with, and things of that nature make him a good fit, in my opinion. He pitched high energy. We feed off of guys like that. Not even just the team, but the fans. And, I truly can't wait to, have a packed house at the stadium. And, if we're facing Houston or the Red Sox or whomever it might be. And, he, there's first and second, 2 out, whatever, and full count. And he's throws 98, 99 past Tyler O'Neill, and crowd just goes crazy. I can already envision it, and him getting fired up, man. I can see it now. He's definitely he's that fit. So I mean, but going back to the Toronto series, I expect another 2 out of 3. Tampa Bay, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost that series, just because eventually we're going to lose a series. But if there was a team, we'd probably do that too. It makes sense. It's Tampa Bay, just because they've given us so many fits over the years, and
Amen.
it doesn't matter who they throw out there. It's just they find these guys that are just diamonds in the rough, and they're the best at it. With as little financial resources as they have, I mean, it's truly beyond impressive what they do year in and year out.
They're always in the discussion, always in the conversation.
Can't ever write them off.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking to the Toronto series, we were mistaken. The first game is actually going to Luis Gil, who is another guy that's been pretty electric this year. He's another guy who pitches with his heart in his sleeve, and being, a homegrown Yankee, really excited to see him, this far in the year. But he'll take game 1 against Chris Bassett. Then it'll be Rodon and Stroman. So pretty good pitching matchups for us, I'd say. We got good righty, good lefty, good righty again. So, I think 2 out of 3 is pretty reasonable. And then for the Tampa series, I'd honestly be surprised if we played a series, just because it looks like New York's going to get some rain that weekend. So definitely going to get a postponement or 2 in that series, I'm pretty sure. But all in all, you want them to keep cruising through the AL East, especially, staying on top. Toronto being 8-8, bottom of the league division, I should say. Sorry about that. And yeah, you just want the guys to keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I expect a lot of things offensively at minimum, and I think we got some good pitching matchups for the Toronto series at minimum. Luis Gil, I've been a big fan of his ever since he came up. He showed he had that spark in 2021, and he's shown it again. He won that 5th spot coming out of spring training, and he's running with it. So I'm really excited for him, and I expect him fully to come out and shove tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I was at his debut in 2021. We absolutely dismantled the Orioles, and he was as electric as he is now. He's a player. He's a team player. Pitches with his heart in his sleeve, and I love the guy. Honestly, forget offense, forget pitching. My expectation is to get the infield back on track, because out of the 5 infielders we have with Birdie, Cabrera, Volpe, Torres, and Rizzo, they combined for a -1 defensive run saved. That is really bad.
That is really bad. That's brutal.
Yeah.
And Birdie's on the IL now too.
He's on the IL, so he can't even play this series. He's on the 10-day. So you really want Cabrera to start, making that exchange to his hand to make the throw. You want Volpe to start throwing a little more accurately. His glove has been amazing, but he just can't. He's just not consistent with the throws, which has been the only con of his game so far this year. And like we mentioned with Rizzo, I mean, maybe father time is starting to show. He's in age 33, 34 year. You're not expecting the platinum glove Rizzo, like you said, but you're expecting a glove, and it's been a little shaky. And Torres is, I don't even want to get back into that.
He's Torres. Goes without saying. I would love that. Because at the end of the day, man, just take care of the fundamentals. Take care of the fundamentals, and that goes a long way in itself. And if we can do that with the potential the rest of the team has, we're going to go a long ways. So just do the little things right, and and then let the talent that God gave you, take you the rest of the way. And God knows we've got so much talent on this team, and arguably as much as any team, besides the Dodgers. I get the argument there, but
and the Braves.
Braves too. Yeah, that's another one. But I like just going up against anybody though. At the end of the day, they've just in this stretch alone, this half month of baseball, they've proven to be a series contender. And I'm I'd be willing to, mark this date, circle it, do whatever you want with it. I think the Yankees are the team to beat in the American League at this point.
Absolutely, especially with the Astros starting their year 6-11, which
Yeah.
you haven't seen from them since pre 2015 when they beat us in that wild card.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a new era in Houston. I'm not writing them off by any means. I still think they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to be there.
They'll figure it out too.
But
They're like Tampa, even though they got money.
yeah, no, yeah, it's a very well run organization. And obviously, you know, scandal and everything aside, they're a very well run organization, and they just do all the little stuff right. They sign guys early. They don't wait for guys to hit free agency. They're very similar to the Braves in that regard. If they have like a homegrown talent that you know they know they can get cheaper now, then they go ahead and sign them. And like they did, they get Yordan Alvarez for a
With the
steal.
Dodgers, yeah.
Then they signed him. They re-signed him for a steal too. Um, guys like that. The only guy that they've really paid is Altuve. Other than that, everyone else has been. I think they're probably going to let Bregman walk, if I do assume. But
I know it's a 1 year or a 2 year, but what are they giving Verlander? Because I mean, he's old.
I mean, they're not paying him much just because the Mets are taking care of most of that because they wanted.
Right? Yeah, I completely forgot he was a Met for a second.
Yeah, so they gave up some better prospects in order for the Mets to take on the money. So, which honestly, they know what they're doing in that regard. So I mean, that wasn't a bad trade, and he was very good for them last year. And we'll see what he looks like coming back, though. That's going to be a big part of the equation for what the outlook on the American League's like, because they're down a bunch of pitching right now, and it's up to the whole league to knock them while they're down and step on their throat while we can.
Even though they dropped the series, it definitely does help having the current world champions and the Texas Rangers in their division.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's an easy
They're
one.
also, even though they dropped the series, they've still been playing really good baseball, especially now that they've brought up Wyatt Langford. So
Yeah, that Wyatt Langford, he reminds me a lot of Pete Alonso, just his raw power and how strong his
he's a
legs
stud,
are.
dude.
Yeah, he's just he's going to be a problem for a long time. But other than that, though, I mean, I feel like we've kind of touched on everything. Hopefully keep things rolling. I mean, shoot, we couldn't have asked for a better start to this season. If you offered me 12-4 to start the year, I'd been doing cartwheels.
Yeah, I mean, as of yesterday, this is tied for our best franchise start after 15 games with 12-3, which is tied with 1926, 43, 49, 87, 88, and 2003, and a lot of World Series years. So
Yeah,
I don't want to get ahead of myself after after last year, but it's a really good team this year, and I think they do have the chops.
yeah. I definitely think it definitely feels like at this point in time, it feels like the Yankees and Dodgers are on a collision course. We'll see
Yeah,
what happens, though, and that might come back and bite me in the ass after the fact of me saying that. But at this point, at this current juncture, I don't see how you could think otherwise.
like I said, you just need them to keep it up and just continue to roll, especially through this week where we got the division rivals.
Yep, yep. Keep stacking up the division wins, and we'll be where we want to be going into October. So we got a long way till then.
Very long way, still only April.
But hey, just great to have baseball back. Great to have winning Yankee baseball back. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Let's go Yanks.
Let's go Yankees.